Rashad Beard, you handsome devil. How you been, fella?
Why'd you get him on the side view?
What's up? Yeah, man, I was working.
Which was an amazing profile.
paying
So
attention.
it's got me,
My bad. I was looking at my laptop. My apologies.
You good? What's up, brother? How you been, man? I feel like it's been a
well.
friggin' month. I guess it has been a month.
Took a little summer break. There's nothing wrong with that. The kids get some time off. We can get some time off too. It's all good, man.
Yeah. It's we
Speaking of which, we won't be here next Friday, Rashad.
we get a preseason off season too.
It's all good. All good. No worries.
Did you tell them that we won't be here next
Yeah,
Friday?
we are. I'll be over in Charleston with the lady drinking on the beach next weekend, watching football. So
I'll be replacing floors in the final room that I need to replace floors in. So, he'll be relaxing. I'll be dying probably. Because when you're old, it's really hard to get up off the floor. I know you guys don't know that, but it's really hard to get up off the floor when you're old.
Not quite there yet.
I'm thinking about installing those metal handles like all the way around the house. So if I fall anywhere, I can just.
somebody come get Grandpa.
What are those called? I mean, you know what I'm talking about? Like in the bathroom, like in the big stall where they got the.
I don't know what they're called, but I'm gonna come up with a fun name for yours. I'm assuming you're going tonight, Shad?
Yeah, I'm going. I'll be out there.
If they asked me to work the network tonight, I was thinking about driving up, but they asked me to work tonight, so. And shout out, welcome back to the PMP Army. Good to have everybody back in the fold, man. Been a minute.
Yep. They're back. They always here, man.
Due to a combination of ACC Media Days, SEC Media Days, vacation, and me being a dumbass, it's been a minute since we've had our next guest on the show. But our next guest is back on the show. A young man who hosts a show called the Panther Nation Podcast, which you can follow on X at Panther Nation PC. More importantly, get on over to the YouTube channel and become one of the Panther Nation Army. The legendary Rashad Beard back on the show. What's up, big dog? Been a minute. How we living, brother?
Yeah, man, it's good to be back. Good to be back. We're good, excited. It's game day. Panthers football is back, so let's get it.
It's I want to talk a little football, but I want to start by saying this about you and about the pod, Rashad, because obviously you've been kind enough to join us for like 2+ years running, talking Panther football. One of my favorite things over the last 6-7 months is I'm on Reddit. I'm on the Panther subreddit. That's a great place to follow the team because it's 200,000 Panther fans that are all giving you the news and opinions and thought. I like hearing what other people outside of the sphere have to say. About once a week, somebody pops the question up, what Panther pod? Where should I listen to Panther stuff? And it has gotten to the point where, and this is not blowing smoke, it happened again yesterday, it has gotten to the point where almost every time, the number one most given answer and upvoted answer is the Panther Nation podcast. So sincerely, congrats, dude, because the movement ain't no joke.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that. We put in a lot of work, and at the end of the day, we're just having fun. This is a hobby that has taken on a life of its own. It's taken us some places that, I never imagined I would have the opportunity to interview the legendary greatest Panther of all time, Steve Smith, 3 times. So that's incredible. So we're just having fun at the end of the day. We're having fun.
Hell yeah. Love to hear it. All right, let's do what we are here to do and talk a little football. 36,000 foot view. We got last weekend, Canales saying starters playing 2 quarters of the first 2 games, assuming that everything goes well, everything goes smoothly. I assume we're going to see them for the first 2 quarters of the first 2 games. Overall, for tonight specifically, your expectations of seeing, your desire to see what?
I just want to see a little bit of clean football, man. I want to see our offense come out there and do well. The Browns are a great team to kind of cut our teeth with. The first preseason game, they're not the greatest, right? They're going through some things. They don't have a solid quarterback situation. So it's a great opportunity for offensively for our offense to get going against a solid defense, Myles Garrett and company. Not sure if they're playing or not, but it's a good opportunity. Let's get the ball rolling. Let's get some momentum going. And I want to give a good shout out to Canales because I think he saw last season he had to adjust. Last year, we did not play our starters in the preseason, and we got off to a pretty slow start. And it appears that other teams around the league are also saying, hey, we might need to start playing our guys. Joe Burrow and company played last night. So that's all. It's a good sign. I think there is starting to be data that supports playing in the preseason as it relates to injuries. So that's always good to get your guys out, get the wheels turning. Doesn't need to be perfect football, but you want to see Bryce connect with some guys. You want to see, and ultimately at the end of the day, we want to get out the game healthy. So I don't care about anything else. We want to be healthy.
It is. I did read yesterday afternoon that the Browns are not planning on playing the starters, or if they do, it will not be for more than a series or two. And I agree with you. In fact, we talked about this yesterday on the show when we started finding out what teams were at least announcing they were rolling out starters. I do think there has been a philosophy shift, and considering Canales on Saturday or Sunday, whenever it was kind of one of the first guys to come out and go, yo, not only we're playing starters, we're extending that time. I was happy to see it for the reasons that you just mentioned, especially when it's not just that you have a bunch of new guys like Tedero McMillan, but XL is going to be moving exclusively to the 2. Adam Thielen back to the slot. Offensive line, never too many reps to get everybody back on the same page. Considering the weight of this season and what it means, I know you're risking injury. I know there's all these reasons a lot of coaches don't like it. I love rolling the ones out for extended time. Give them as much of an opportunity to gel so that week 1 on the road in Jacksonville, a team that I do think will be better this year, but is still a beatable team to get off on the right foot. I'd rather roll into there. Maybe we're a little bruised up, but we're clicking.
Yeah, and ultimately you got to build some momentum. So I fully support playing your players, especially given the way we started the season last year. Not good. So if you see something going wrong, you got to be able to adjust. And I think Canales is doing that, and I commend him for it. Again, one can only hope that we don't have any significant injuries. Obviously, folks may get banged up. This is the NFL. At the end of the day, people are going to be injured and banged up as long as it's nothing serious. So I'm excited to see the offense out there. T-Mac, want to see T-Mac out there get going. I got to see him at Fan Fest. You know, a couple of things were errand, a couple errand football. So we got to make sure that chemistry gets going. And there's no better way to build chemistry than get out there and get live game reps, whether it's preseason or not. We got to get some live game reps out there.
Rashad Beard, host of the Panther Nation podcast, joining us here on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. What do you think is the look for the Rooks tonight? You can talk about Princely, you can talk about Tet, you can talk about any combination you want, but what are the expectations for you out of the rookies in game 1? Do you think they're going to get plenty of opportunity to make a play? Do you think this is more of a welcome to the league, let's ease you in, kind of tip into the shallow end? What do you think we see out of the new guys tonight?
No, I think we get a hefty dose of T-Mac for sure. Even that's what I learned at Fan Fest is that they're going to get him the football early and often. And I think we're going to see him a lot. But I got to be honest, I'm not really concerned or I mean, obviously we're excited to see T-Mac, but I'm really at this point more excited to see our defensive rookies, right? There's some guys out there that are really, really playing well. Princely, excited to see him. He brings a different kind of swagger and edge to the defense. So I want to see him get after the quarterback. He's been doing well one-on-ones in the joint practices. So I want to see him get out there. Nick Scorton, same with him. Latham Ransom is having an awesome offseason and training camp so far. So I want to see him out there. So my eyes are really on the other rookies outside of T-Mac. We know T-Mac is going to get the football. We know he's a baller. I want to see the guys from the later rounds. Mitchell Evans, our tight end that we drafted, going to get a lot of opportunity due to the fact that Tommy Tremble is out. So we saw him at Fan Fest as well, get a ton of looks. So those are the guys I'm looking for and have my eyes on for tonight.
Rashad Beard, host of the Panther Nation podcast here on the Rob Brown Show with the Fan Upstate Panthers Browns tonight, 7 p.m. in Charlotte, North Carolina. I know you just said you're more excited about the guys on defense. So am I. I'm interested to see what they look like. I'm still going to ask you about McMillan because there's plenty of rookies, plenty of guys folks are excited about. It is, to me, a mix of both. The expectations are elevated, and not just by you and the rest of the Panther Nation Army, but the folks around the league, like media guys around the league, are kind of starting to talk about this team. And I think a big part of the reason is the Cat looks like a dude out there. And I'm not just talking about in the helmet and the shirts making one-handers. I'm talking in pads making some circus catches. If this dude is in the regular season, what he looks like he's about to be in the preseason, yep.
Yeah, we're excited, man. And again, I've been pounding the table for T-Mac for a long time. He's an excellent player. There's a lot of potential. But again, I don't want to go out there on a limb and say, oh, he's going to have a 1,000-yard season. I mean, that would be great. The kid is going to have to adjust to the physicality of the game in NFL, right? He has had some up and down practices, according to Canales. It has not all been great. Has not all been, the one-handed catches that you see on X, right? It's some drops. There's some drops in there. There's some route things that we need to clean up. There's dealing with that physicality, like I mentioned. All of our cornerbacks are 6 foot above and 200+ pounds. That's something he's going to have to deal with game in and game out. So there's going to be some lumps he's got to take. But we're all excited about T-Mac. The potential is there. The circus catches have been awesome to see. But I like myself, have to say, hold on. Let's pump the brakes a little bit. He's not the second coming of Megatron just yet. Let's hold off and let's see. Let's see what happens. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm at. I'm excited for him. I want to see it, but let's see what he does tonight. One game at a time.
I respect that. Give you something that I said on the show on Tuesday, Rashad, and let you react to it. I don't think any of your listeners from the PNP Army who are here, if you've been with us before, I'm a Saints fan. All right, that's why Rashad and we give each other hell all the time. But we covered the team, so I'm going to have Rashad on to talk about him. Here's my take, not just as a guy who covers the Panthers, not just as a guy who is an editorialist, whatever you want to call me, not just a guy who's a Saints fan. My expectations for the Carolina Panthers in 2025, after what I've seen in the preseason, and after really kind of diving in and evaluating Tampa, Atlanta, New Orleans, the take elevated Rashad from the expectation is not, I think this team can and should compete for the division. I think this team should win the division this year. Honestly, new OC in Tampa, 3rd in 3 years. No idea. It's a passing game coordinator, right? We got an established guy. I look at Atlanta. If Michael Penix Jr. stays healthy, maybe they're them, but that's also Atlanta. Like you and I both know what that team does every time the pressure's on the line. And my team sucks. So my expectations have jumped from compete for the NFC South to legitimately, I drove to North Carolina for ACC Media Days, and while I was up there, I locked down a hefty bet on Panthers to win the South, and I don't feel like that's a hot take anymore.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's as a Panthers fan, we are a little bit scarred, right? So it's tough for us to say, hey, division expectations are on the line, right? We have to win the division. It's tough for me as a Panthers fan to do that. Now, outside, sure. I mean, yes, the circumstances are there for us to make a nice run at the division. Like you said, Tampa dealing with the third OC, but they always tend to kind of make it work, and they are talented. They have a lot of talent on that squad. Saints, yeah, you know where he's staying. But the Falcons, again, there's some talent on that roster. So we just gotta, again, I think if we do what we have to do, control what we can control, right? Play our game week in, week out. I think certainly you can see the Panthers hoist the NFC South division title, but I'm not expecting it. The expectation for me is not that. I just want to see us be competitive every week and not fall into a trap where we're starting to feel ourselves, right? We still have to go out and prove ourselves. Although it feels good. I got to be honest. The momentum is there, but I can't go with that expectation. I can't do it.
Even when I compliment you, you got to make it personal.
Know.
Even when I compliment you, you got to take a dig. All right, fine. Rashad Beard, host of the Panther Nation podcast here on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. The big question, and this is, I'm going to do my best. This is going to be the only time I'm going to ask this question during the preseason, unless it's just something goes wrong and we go, now we have to talk about it. But what did you see? What have you seen out of Bryce? Do you believe that the way the last year ended is the way that this year is going to start? I know we've seen a lot of clips. He's gotten, just mounds of compliments from the boys on the team, from Canales, from folks covering. Seems like dude is in a real good headspace right now. What have you seen out of the preseason that leads you to believe, if you believe, the momentum carries over into 2025? And we will do our best not to mention Bryce Young again in the preseason unless we have to.
Yeah, no, it has to. I think that's the expectation for him. I mean, I think there's nothing that has gone wrong where things shouldn't be. He's got the same OC back to back, or same head coach OC back to back years. That's step one, right? That's always a continuity is always a plus. But not only that, he's got additional weapons. He's got a solid run game, Chuba Hubbard, Rico Dowdle, but you also get T-Mac. So the expectation is that, hey, your circumstances are the same, if not better. So your improvement should be that you get better, right? The expectation that you pick up where you left off. At the end of the last season, things were clicking. We were firing on all cylinders, and now let's pick up where we left off. If that doesn't happen, I got to be honest with you, the Panther season is going to be a huge disappointment. I think we have to pick up where we left off. That is the expectation, there's no excuses for Bryce. I love Bryce. I got to be honest with you. I got his jersey on. I support him. But if he comes out and he doesn't do well, that's not a good sign. The circumstances are perfect. We always talk about how this is a team sport. It's 11 guys on offense. The offensive line has to be great. That's a top 10 offensive line. You've got weapons, right? You've got a very, very good receiving core. That hasn't been the case for a long time around these parts, right? You got a solid run game. So, Bryce, you do what you have to do. You don't have to be Superman. You don't have to be Cam or anything like that. But you hold up your end of the bargain, and we're going to be fine.
Rashad Beard hosts the Panther Nation podcast. You can find them on Twitter at Panther Nation PC. But more importantly, get on over to YouTube, search, subscribe, turn the bell on, because I got no doubt Shad's going to do 27 to 35 hours of live streaming this weekend, especially if the boys look good. My man, good to have you back in the fold, brother. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. Always a pleasure coming on the show, man. I love it here. Zoe, what's good, man? You all right, Zoe? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm just sitting back and listening. That's all.
All right, man. My man, Zoe. Appreciate you.
He's really struggling with the fact that I might have been right about Bryce Young the whole time.
No, I'm not. As I told him, I want him to be right, but he just hasn't yet. So, I mean,
Rashad,
there's a lot of positivity going on. I didn't want to add negativity. So, I mean,
balance is key.
My man, good to talk to you, brother. We are out next Friday. We'll see if maybe we'll get you on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, recap, get the for next week. If not, we'll catch up with you. I appreciate you, my man.
All right, guys. Appreciate you.
Rashad Beard, Panther Nation Podcast. Again, get on over, follow on YouTube. Reddit's favorite podcast. Make sure you go check them out. Make sure you check us out. If I could whistle, I would do it right now, but I can't.
Thank God you can't.
Instead,
I hate whistling.
I'm going to give you the second sexiest sound you could possibly hear on the radio, this Sports Flash.
Yay?
That's the nicest thing I've said about
I'm trying to talk here, okay? Why don't you just go on? Baltimore Ravens knocked off the Indianapolis Colts 24-16 last night. Colts quarterback Anthony Richardson left in the first quarter with a dislocated pinky finger. Looked painful after taking a hard sack. Former Giants quarterback Daniel Jones stepped in, going 10 of 21 for 144 yards, followed by former Duke quarterback Riley Leonard, who's completed 12 of 24 for 92 yards and a pick. The Ravens' Keaton Mitchell rushed for 68 yards and a touchdown. Las Vegas and Seattle ended in a 23-23 tie, just like soccer. Raiders quarterback Aiden O'Connell went 18 of 30 for 205 yards, touchdown, 2 picks, while Drew Lock went 12 of 22 for 147, a TD, and a pick for Seattle. The Atlanta Braves took game 1 of a 5-game set over Miami with an 8-6 win last night. Pierce Johnson got the win after a single inning after starter Carlos Carrasco gave up 9 hits and 6 runs through 5.2 innings.
Brown Show back on your radio. It's the Fan Upstate. Rob Brown, the great one, Lonzo, and you. The final hour of the show is the Armada Agenda. It is whatever you want to talk about. It is whatever you want to get to. It is whatever subjects, topics, people, whatever that you want to discuss. It belongs to you, as it does every Friday from 9 until 10 o'clock in the morning for the final hour of the show. How do you get your topic, your person, your subject, whatever, your take on the show? We're not. I'm going to tell you. Here's how you do it. Number one, you text the show on the Hub City Spartanburger text line at 844-326-3663. 844-FANFONE. You text that number, it shows right up on my computer screen. I read it on the air. The second option also involves that phone number. You call that number, 844-326-3663. You call that number. We will take your call. You get to make some incredible small talk with the great one, Lonzo. There's nothing he loves more. And then we put you on the air, and you can share your take, whether it is hot or good or bad. You can share it with the world. 844-326-3663 is that number. The third way you can get in touch with the radio program is to shoot me a tweet or an Instagram DM. You do that by utilizing my social media handle at The Rob Brown Show. And the folks that follow me will attest, gotten a little more active on the social over the last couple of weeks, clipping out segments of the radio broadcast, giving you some takes off to the side. Follow me at The Rob Brown Show. You can tweet me, you can DM me, whatever you want to do at The Rob Brown Show. The fourth way that you can get in touch with the radio program is to check us out on our live stream. You can go to Facebook, search and subscribe to The Rob Brown Show. You can go to YouTube, search and subscribe to The Rob Brown Show. You can go to Twitch, search and subscribe to The Rob Brown Show. Or you can go to YouTube, Twitter, or Facebook and search and subscribe to the Fan Upstate. We broadcast all 4 hours of the show live, all 5 days of the week, unless we're not here. And I will let you know a little bit early in advance. We will be off next Thursday and Friday. As mentioned, I am sorry that you're about to become a football widow until February parting gift to my lovely bride. We are headed over to Charleston, South Carolina next weekend. The sister-in-law is having a baby, and we are going over there to help out, make sure they're good, but also completely use that as an excuse to go sit on Folly Beach, hit up a couple of dive bars, have a couple of Mai Tais on the sand, and relax and enjoy before college football starts up the weekend after that. So we're off next Thursday and Friday, but you got us until then, and the show streams live every one of those days. The Fan Upstate on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitter. The Rob Brown Show on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitch. We have been all over the place talking about a whole bunch of stuff. We've got some comments on the chat. Raul's in the chat. He said the Browns have agreed to retire Sanders' number after he fails to make the practice squad. I'm real interested in what Shadore Sanders looks like tonight. Genuinely. I am genuinely intrigued because, number one, as mentioned, with the exception of J.C. Horn and any other developments between here and 7 o'clock tonight, his first start under center in the NFL is against an NFL number one defense.
See, and this is why I didn't talk when Rashad was on, because the question I would have asked, and I didn't want to be negative, is what if Shadore comes out and carves up that defense? Does it mean that people were wrong about Shadore, or that this defense still needs a lot of work?
Well,
or could it be both?
You know the stance that I take, which is, and this is something I think is missing in most of sports communication, the context of the situation is going to matter. I mean, if Shadore comes out and runs wild on you, brother, then we'll just have to look. It's just going to matter on what it looks like. There is a reality in which we come back on Monday and we go, holy crap, 31 other teams are going to regret that they passed on Shadore Sanders. There is a reality that we come back on Monday and we go, holy crap, Shadore Sanders really isn't that good. And everybody was right that passed on him until the 5th round. There is a reality that we show up and we go, Shadore didn't look bad, but the Panthers defense was stellar. And there is a reality in which we show up on Monday and we say, Shadore's not that good. And the Panthers let him go bananas. I think we got to watch the game. I think we got to find out. James just had the take, quote, one fan base will panic. Which one will it be? We'll see.
I mean, it will be easy to dismiss it as, it's preseason. It's not that big of a deal. Cleveland started Shadore to prove that they needed to get rid of him. There's no other reason to put him out there other than the fact that you're not going to put Flacco out there because he's 40 and Kenny Pickett's injured, and I mean, so is Dylan Gabriel, right? So he's out there because he has to be. And
I would make the argument that because remember, earlier over the weekend or early this week, Jimmy Haslam, the owner of the Browns, was doing a post-practice Jerry Jones style conference, and somebody said, like, what do you expect to see? What do you want to see out of your draft pick? And he was like, that's not my draft pick. That was Andrew Berry's draft pick, the GM. That's his pick. He wanted him. I said go bananas. That's not my pick. Like he ran to separate himself from the draft pick of Shadore Sanders. And
so,
I get it.
So if Shadore goes out there and he does really well, he can't take credit for it.
No, but what he can do is take credit for having Andrew Berry as the GM. That's why I hired that guy.
Okay.
He saw something I didn't say. Listen, it's a great political move from Jimmy Haslam because Jimmy Haslam is, rightfully so, taking a bunch of crap for what the Browns are. They had Baker Mayfield. They got to the playoffs, and then he blew all that up because what? Baker was too much fun. Can't have that in C-Town. So he blew the whole thing up, and they've been bad again ever since, which is why when Joe Flacco gets the nod, or I should say when Dylan Gabriel or Tyler Huntley or Shadore Sanders or blah, 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 Kenny Pickett, whenever one of those guys starts, that is going to be the 137th different starting quarterback the Browns have had in the last 10 years, right? So I think it's a shrewd political move from Jimmy Haslam because if it goes great, he can take credit for Andrew Berry. That's my guy. That's why he's still here because he saw that and nobody else did, and he got us that guy at a value in round 5. But if he sucks, he can go, that's Andrew Berry's fault. I'm a good owner. See, I'm doing great. I wouldn't have drafted that guy if I'd have been in charge, right? Like that's basically what it comes down to. So I think it's a shrewd move from Jimmy Haslam. I did wonder, and if there's one thing about Shadore Sanders that especially after the draft, I think we can all agree on, it is I don't think we have to worry about the confidence of Shadore Sanders. I think Shadore's confidence level is going to be just fine. But I did wonder, I was like, if the owner comes out before that kid takes a snap and says, not my draft pick, not my circus, not my clowns, could that impact him? Could he go, wait a minute, my owner doesn't believe in me? The guy signing the paycheck, he didn't believe in me? Like, does that impact Shadore? I don't think the answer is yeah. I think Shadore, and by the way, I will give credit to Shadore Sanders because while you can believe it's a work or not, honestly, I think Shadore Sanders has handled the preseason, the offseason, really well. After the draft, where he took a lot of crap, like a lot of crap, during the actual preseason, rookie training camp, or rookie minicamp, training camp, now into the preseason, he's been good. A handful of days ago, Dion came out, Coach Prime came out, and said in a podcast interview, Shadore called me and said, don't come here. Don't come to practice. Don't come to games. Don't be here because that's going to be a big-time distraction that I don't need while I'm trying to earn a job. And then they asked Shadore in an interview, why'd you tell your dad not to show up? That's Deion Sanders, man. Like, nobody says no to Deion. Why'd you say don't show here? And Shadore said, I haven't earned the right to be that distraction. I'm third on the depth chart. I got to prove that I'm worthy of being on the team before I start saying, hey, y'all make special accommodations for my Hall of Fame father. I think he's done a good job handling the preseason. And in a weird way, for a dude that I beat up on as much as anybody else, in a weird way, I'm kind of pulling for the guy.
Well, and I think part of that, me too, I think part of that is the narrative has been written on social media. So people go at him, and they say all these things, and there's a limited amount of practice that people are allowed to see. So you really don't know how he's going to play in an NFL game until tonight. And that's the thing. Once we see what happens tonight, then you can find out if that narrative is correct or not, and if he's got the ability to play in the NFL.
Yeah, I'm going to, I guess in a way, gently to some degree push back, because I do think sometimes that we, myself included, I think that we label when other people have an opinion, thought, belief, position that is different than ours. I think sometimes we all tend to say, oh, that's the narrative, as opposed to, hey, you have a genuine thought about this, Kat. And I think a lot of people have a genuine thought. Has
the narrative not been written? The narrative has been written, and it's out there.
Okay, what's the narrative?
That he doesn't deserve to play in the NFL. The only reason why he's there is because of his dad got him there. There's just a bunch of things. And by the way, just as many positive things are out there that are negative, but the negative is what shows up on my feed.
I would start with, well, and this is one thing I would warn everybody to be careful of. And this is there's a lot of drawbacks to social media, but I honestly believe the biggest drawback to social media is that it by default, like the entire point of it is to drag you into one of two circles. Either an echo chamber where everything in your algorithm is designed to make you feel good about yourself, because if you feel good about yourself, if you get that dopamine hit, you're coming back for more. The goal of Twitter is not to keep you entertained, educated, enlightened. The goal of Twitter is to make sure you log back into Twitter so they can put more ads in front of you. And there's two ways to do that, and it just depends on who you are. Way number one is to surround you with thoughts that reflect your own so that you go, hey, man, I feel like a big smart boy when I'm on Twitter. I'm going to log back in for that dopamine hit. Or the exact opposite, which is what my algorithm is, which is an algorithm that is entirely designed to you off all the time because rage keeps you coming back for more. You want to know why hot takes exist in sports talk radio? I'll give you the answer. Because you react to them. Either you jump in line and you go, it's an out-of-the-box take and it's a great take. Or you go, that guy's a big giant jackass and he doesn't deserve a microphone and I'm going to listen so that I can rage at him. The extreme emotions are what keep you coming back for more. And so depending on how you react to either echo chamber or rage bait is what your social media is going to show you. So for me, the majority of the takes about Shadore Sanders that I come across are very much, this guy's not going to be that good. He's going to be a bust. He's going to be a wash. Everything at Colorado was designed by Deion to protect and enhance him. And I'll be honest, like I had the take too. I think Shadore
By the way, how's
Sanders,
that any different than any other quarterback?
It's not. And I guess that for me is after having that, I'll say realization, revelation, whatever you want to call it, because I had the take going into the draft. My take was, I don't know that Shadore Sanders without Travis Hunter, that's a different guy. Without Travis Hunter, I don't know that Shadore is going to be that same guy, because how many freak of nature, only that guy can do it plays did we see out of Travis Hunter last year? The answer is enough to win him the gosh darn Heisman Trophy, right? So my take going into the draft was, I think he's probably an NFL talent, but not a guy who's going to show up and be C.J. Stroud in his first year. Not a guy who's going to show up and is a rook, make it feel like, oh, this franchise is on the way. I think he's going to show up. I think he's going to be on the roster. I think he's probably going to be a guy who is a number 2 backup quarterback. I think he'll get his shot down the line, and the question mark will be, did he develop enough in the time between leaving Colorado and QB1 start number 1 that he becomes an NFL quarterback that can be a guy who guides a franchise to success? And I don't know that he's ever going to be elite, but I think he's a freak athlete.
He's in a good situation, even though people don't think so. There's no way Flacco plays the entire season, and so game 3 or 4, one of those guys is going to take over. So he's what better place, if he's getting a fair shake competition wise, to go to have an actual shot and not have to play the first couple games, because you know that's going to be Flacco, be able to work your way in as far as the speed of the game and everything else. It's going to be him or Dylan Gabriel that's going to play the majority of the season.
You hit on a take that I agree with. The take
don't
act surprised. No, I'm not. I'm not at all. I'm gonna set it up a different way though, because I think we have the same take, but I'm setting it up a different way. I think the reason the Browns drafted Shadore is not because they necessarily drafted Shadore going, this guy's a franchise changer. I think they drafted Shadore because they went, our situation's perfect to find out if he is, right? Because we know we got Flacco. We know that Flacco's going to be our guy. Out of the gate, he's our number 1. And we all know Joe Flacco at 40 years of age. That's a bridge quarterback. That's not a guy they think's bringing him to the Super Bowl. That's a bridge guy. And on top of that, by getting Dylan Gabriel, they've done 2 things. Number 1, they've created a world where the pressure is not on. There's no pressure on Shadore Sanders. The only pressure for Shadore is, can you make the roster? And in order to make the roster, the pressure is, can you beat out Kenny Pickett? That's the question. It's not, can you beat out Dylan Gabriel? It's, can you beat out Kenny Pickett? And then the question is, can you be QB2 so that when it's time to move on from Joe Flacco, either because he's 40 and he gets hurt, or because we get to the end of this year, we don't go to the playoffs and Joe Flacco's on his way out. Now next year we got the role, we got a job open. Can you be ready for that? And in order to do that, you got to beat out Dylan Gabriel, who is a rookie quarterback that was drafted in the 3rd round. But I also am going to say a rookie quarterback who had more critique, who had a lack of belief from the rest of the media as much as anybody else.
Dylan Gabriel was on a bigger stage, too.
It's also true. Quarterbacking a team that expected to go to a national championship. So I think the situation was perfect for Shadore. I think that, however, tonight's very interesting because this is rushed. This was not expected. Shadore getting the nod tonight in preseason game number 1 for Cleveland was not expected. And because it was unexpected, and because of what I think is a good decision from Dave Canales, we're going to play our starters for a full half. Anybody who's 100% healthy is going for a full half. Shadore's going to get an opportunity tonight. And if he comes out there and he lights it up on fire, maybe he jumps ahead of where he was supposed to be in week 1. But if he comes out tonight and he stinks, do we go the Panther defense crushed him? Or do we go he just stinks? And that's on Kevin Stefanski to figure out, not me. But we will break it down on Monday. All right, when we come back, I have had it requested during the Armada Agenda Hour to wrap up a Friday to talk some college football. Let's do that. ESPN put out their tier list of college football teams. Let's talk about where your team falls on it and what that means going into the 2025 season. That's next on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. What has Kenny Pickett done to deserve the number 2 spot? Have veteran experience. That's quite literally it.
Have number 2 sized hands.
He has veteran experience. He has played at the NFL level, and that's it. Again, like I think they brought in the quarterbacks they brought in to push their 2 rookie quarterbacks to find out which one of those guys is going to step up to the plate and earn the number 2 spot away from them. That's my thought. Y'all stay right there. We'll be right back. So all right, we back. Thanks for hanging in there.
Whatever, James. I mean, you want to brag on your backup? Who was your backup? That's fine. I mean, you got scoreboard this year. I had scoreboard. You had scoreboard. I had scoreboard. You have scoreboard. Will this continue? Will it be Philly or the Chiefs in the Super Bowl this year, or both of them again?
I wonder what odds, this is where the degeneracy comes out. I wonder what odds I could get on a parlay that both Philly and Kansas City fail to win their division. I bet I could get that
Which
at
is
like,
more unlikely.
I can get that at like
Probably
18, that both of them do not win the division. Not one or the other loses.
I got you.
I bet I could get that at like 22 to 1. The Rob Brown Show back on your radio. It's the Fan Upstate. Rob Brown, the great one, Lonzo, and you. Be a part of the show, 844-326-3663. The final hour of the show, the Armada Agenda. Anything that you want to get to, anything that you want to talk about, up for grabs. We had a couple requests as we have talked quite a bit of NFL football today. We've had a couple of requests to talk a little college football in the final hour of the show, so let's do just that. ESPN has taken all 136 FBS football teams, and they have ranked them by tier. Those tiers are cream of the crop, yeah, teams that are hot, Big Ten's ticking clocks, and then they stopped rhyming, which kind of aggravates me a little bit. Room for improvement and could be talked into them are some of the picks. Here's the tier list.
Also, I thought it was by SEC.
No.
Okay.
No, it
Big
is
Ten.
where they stand in relation to everybody else of the
So
138
I thought
FBS
the
teams.
ACC was the bottom thing. So
And also it's not.
okay, all right.
And also it's not. By the way, I promised I was going to do a segment today. I want you to know, because I took the text from Buckeye Mike personally, at the end of the day, I'm putting numbers there. I might make a chart. That's how serious I am. We don't need, I mean, one was enough. It was unique. It was iconic. We don't need it because then it becomes commonplace. And once it becomes commonplace, no one looks at it. So why do it again? Because numbers. It might be Make a Chart Monday on Monday. That might be the new thing. Make a Chart Monday. New segment. We do charts on the show. Mike, I'm coming with numbers on Monday, all right? Stay tuned. That turns into a project that I'm like, I'm going to need the weekend. All right, here we go. From ESPN, Tier 1A, a great matchup for the championship game. They said we're taking our two favorite teams, our two frontline contenders, the two teams we believe are going to the title game, and they get a 1A tier all to themselves. The two teams they put in Tier 1A, the top two teams in the country, Lonzo, are?
Ohio State and Texas.
That is exactly the top two teams that they put there. They point out Ohio State coming off of the Natty. They put out the fact that Texas drives Lamborghinis onto the field to sell to recruits. They've got the dollar bills.
Do they
y'all.
really? Do
Oh,
they
yeah.
really do Lamborghinis?
Yeah, Steve Sarkisian took a bunch of crap at SEC Media Days because he did the whole, we're not about money at Texas. We don't guarantee you anything until you come to Texas. And then somebody at SEC Media Days quite literally pulled up the video of a recruitment day at Texas when recruits were showing up to take the tour in Austin, Texas. And there were like a dozen Ferraris and Lamborghinis lining the sidewalk going into the Texas football stadium. And then later on, they had more of them on the field in the stadium when the recruits were taking their stadium tour. So, maybe not, Steve.
Seems like more of a Miami thing to do.
It's a very Miami thing. You know what it is? It's a dudes who have more money than everybody else thing. It's a flex, bro. And they flexed. Tier 1B, the rest of the best. These are the other teams they consider frontline national championship contenders. Frontline national championship contenders, Georgia, Oregon, and Penn State. So those are the next three. Then they have tier 2. So they split tier 1 into 2 tiers. Their top 2, and then the next 4, they believe championship contenders. Tier 1 is comprised of Ohio State, Texas, Georgia, Oregon, and Penn State. Tier 2, this tier is titled Playoff Expectations. Alabama, Miami, Michigan, Notre Dame, LSU, Clemson. That's tier 2.
I was wondering when their name was going to be mentioned.
I don't have a problem. Here's what I'll say about these 6 teams. I think they all have one thing in common, with the exception of Michigan, because Michigan's got some stuff to deal with. With the exception of Michigan, I think all of these teams, anything less than a playoff appearance, will be described as a failure this year. Alabama, Clemson, Miami, Notre Dame, LSU. For those 5 teams, Michigan may be on the bubble, but I think certainly for those 5 teams, I think anything less than a playoff berth is going to be considered a failure for those teams this year. And I do not think they're all making it.
I was going to say, that should be the expectation for all those teams, though, every year.
I mean, you'd like to think so, but I would also like to say I think that at some point, college football fans are going to realize that with the portal and with NIL, dynasties, I'm not saying there will be no more dynasties, but I think dynasties are not going to be commonplace anymore. We're not going to have a dynasty a decade like we used to. I think we're going to get to a point where you go, guys, the talent and the money spread out. Like, dynasties aren't a thing anymore. So this concept of the expectation of being one of the 12 for now, 16 next year, but one of the 12 best teams or 16 best teams in football annually will at some point go away.
Well, when does that come into play? Again, thinking of dynasties, a team's got to win it two years in a row, right?
I would say, honestly, that's the start.
Yeah.
I would say that's the start.
When's the last time that happened?
Yeah.
Probably Alabama.
Tier number 3. And this is where it gets interesting. And granted, you can make the argument that this is some conference propaganda. Tier 3. The tier is titled, quoting directly from ESPN, someone in the SEC has to lose some games. The tier is Florida, Oklahoma, Ole Miss, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Texas A&M. Honestly, I don't have an issue with that. Now, here's where we are going to get into what I think could genuinely be the primary conference v. conference, SEC versus everybody else discussion of the offseason, despite the fact that there are only 20 days left in the offseason. According to If You Trust Them preseason metrics, all 16 teams in the Southeastern Conference rank amongst the 20 hardest schedules in the country. Now, there is the counter argument, which is, well, if you just say that everybody in the conference is one of the best teams, and you use circular logic that if everybody in the conference is amongst the best teams and everybody in the conference plays everybody in the conference, then that leads you to the circular logic that, yeah, everybody's schedule is the toughest. If you started without the assumption that teams in the SEC are just by default good, then the schedules would not work out that way. Here's the argument that I would make. You guys that have been with the show for the 5 months that we've been doing it, you know that during the duration of the show, I have never, toes in the sand, full chest, never been SEC means more guy. Never been that guy. In fact, I would make the argument that I've been the opposite. I've been the guy that has chopped the legs out from under the Southeastern Conference. Hey, you're good, but you're not like nobody else deserves to exist good.
And the Big Ten while propping up the ACC. It just seems that way.
I don't think I've propped up the ACC. I've said for years.
Hence what you're going to have to do over the weekend, your research.
Oh, no, for sure. Listen, I think the ACC is better than – I don't think the ACC is good. I just think it's better than you're giving it credit for or anybody else is. And I'll try to argue that on Monday, and we'll see if I do a good job or not. Here's what I'll say. As somebody who is never in
You're killing me because every time you're leaving the hesitation there.
Well, because
this
time has a good reason. It's because I'm doing math in my head.
Ever. That's what I've been waiting for. And I haven't heard it.
In 4 weeks, Rob Brown will have been in the radio game for 18 years. In 4 weeks, I'll be in 18 years. And in 18 years, not only have I never been SEC guy, most of that time, I've been anti-SEC guy, push back against the SEC guy. I am telling you this year, and I mean this, I think this year is the best SEC year ever. I think ever. Wow. I think it's the best SEC year of all time. And that is why in other years, this would have driven me.
That doesn't work for me, brother.
In other years, this would have driven me up a wall and back down it. This year, I'm like, I got no problem because I've said I'm in on DJ Lagway. Brent Venables went and got an offensive coordinator and got out of the way of the offense. Defensively, they were very good last year. I think they may have fixed it. Lane Kiffin's Lane Kiffin, absolute wild card. He's the Joker of college football. South Carolina with Lenora Sellers. I got to bet on him to win the Heisman. Tennessee, quarterback issue, quarterback question. If they solve it, they got talent. Texas A&M under Mike Elko, love the Colt. I mean, I love the Colt, but I love their football team this year. I don't have a problem with that. Tier 4 are their playoff surprises. Arizona State, Boise State, Indiana, SMU. Tier 5, teams that are, and I quote, so hot right now. Illinois, Louisville, Texas Tech, Utah. I like 2 of those. I like Burt at Illinois, and I love Millard Moss, Jeff Brom, and the Louisville Cardinal. One of the reasons I've said you're not giving the ACC enough credit is because I believe Louisville's going to have a say. Another tier, flying beneath the radar like Tom Cruise. That's a Top Gun reference? Georgia Tech, Iowa, Kansas, Minnesota, Washington. I've been saying Georgia Tech is another team that says to me, y'all aren't giving the ACC enough credit this year because Brent Key and the Tech are dogs this year, and I think they're going to upset some folks. I like Kansas a lot. And if you're counting out P.J. Fleck and the Golden Gophers, you're cruising for a bruising, pal. I'd watch out for that team too. So there you go. There's some thoughts. Pal. There's some tiers from ESPN. Who's too high? Who's too low? You asked for college football. You got college football. I expect a response for college football. You drive the final segment of the Armada agenda when we come back on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate.
You know, there should be a rule, a law, something that when you're almost done with the good portion of your day, that you can look outside and see it's sunny.
Are you trying to legislate the sun?
Yes, I am. We've got 3 months left before the earth ends when that alien thing gets here. Let's have some sun instead of so much rain.
Oh, that's why he said Shane Van Ginzbergen, because he's going to win this weekend.
To me, Van Ginzbergen talks like Ludwig Kaiser. But, you know, I haven't heard him speak, but in my mind, he talks like Ludwig Kaiser. Who I believe might know Spanish. I don't know why I'm thinking of that, but I think I heard that somewhere. I watched 2/3 of the Paul Heyman interview yesterday. Really good. If you get a chance, you should watch it. You probably disagree with him on a lot of stuff, but it's Paul Heyman. So
James, that has been what I have said for many years. There is nothing more aggravating to me than having an Ole Miss fan coming off of a 6-6 year screaming SEC because Bama won the title. Could you imagine Michigan winning the title and Zoe coming in here chanting B1G, B1G? No,
First
nobody
of all,
else does it.
I don't think anyone chants
But that's just because
B1G, do they?
it just means more.
Okay. I don't think there is a Big Ten chant. I think the SEC is
That's
the
what I'm
only.
saying.
Is only.
They're the only ones who do it.
Do they chant ACC in the ACC? Big Ten, it's not chant worthy. It's got to have three. You got to have three things to chant.
Yeah.
It's got
Unless you want to go, we got to get to full Euro where teams have full songs. You get a whole song.
Did you know your alma mater song?
Like
the Argonauts? Did they have a song?
Yeah, I don't remember it.
And your fraternity, did you have to sing stuff like that?
No. My fraternity was very much, oh, you want to be in the group? Okay. Welcome. I don't know if I've told this story before. My initiation ritual, they showed up at they had us all show up at the frat house. They put us on a bus, they blindfolded us, and they drove us for like 45 minutes, and we were all like, oh God, here we go. We got off the bus blindfolded still. Our big brothers walked us, put us in a line. We took off the blindfolds, and we were, when I say in the sticks, I mean, you know when you're so far away from the city that you can see the damn Milky Way.
Yeah,
so out of nowhere.
I did the same thing to pledges, so I know about it. Yeah.
They took off our blindfolds. All of the brothers were standing in a triangle. Our president was at the head of the triangle. He lit a match and he dropped it, and our symbol was a triangle. A triangle of fire erupted in front of us. And they had us one by one go into the triangle of fire and just recite our little recitation. And then they brought us out and they said, all right, everybody, and they put us in a row of chairs. And there were only like 8 of us. They put us in a row of chairs. And then they scared the bejesus out of us. And then somebody behind us started playing music, and they had 2 strippers come out with a cooler full of like 100 beers, and we just drank in the woods until like 6 in the morning. And that was our hazing. And it was like, I am with my people.
Okay, I was hazed properly. Yeah, that's not hazing.
I was not. Our hazing was like, thanks for joining us. We needed you. The Rob Brown Show back on your radio. It's the Fan Upstate. Rob Brown.
Can you dig it?
The great one, Lonzo. And you, rounding out the day, rounding out the week of broadcasting. Just as a brief reminder, your boy will be live tonight on BetMGM tonight with Ryan Horvat. Make sure you tune in. It'll be the last Friday for me filling in for Brad Evans, as he will be returning to his Friday night slots starting next week as football season is here. Ryan and I are going to be, for those of you especially that texted and tweeted over the past few minutes saying, give us some college football, please, Rob Brown, it's going to be a lot of college football tonight. So make sure you tune in for BetMGM tonight. Make sure you tune in for Bet for the Cycle tomorrow, noon to 4 on the BetMGM network, available for free on the Odyssey app. Sean Bell filling in for Cody Decker tomorrow on the show. We'll do a lot of baseball talk. We have a Big 12 preview tomorrow. We have an NFC South preview tomorrow. So if you're a Panthers fan, I invite you to grab the Odyssey app, AUDACY, Heart the Fan Upstate, and the BetMGM network, and tune in from noon to 4 Eastern Standard Time tomorrow, because myself and Sean Bell will be running over the NFC South, including an extended look at the Carolina Panthers. So make sure you tuned in for all of the words that I will be saying for 8 more hours between here and 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Talking NFL, talking college football, etc., etc., etc. Real quick, earlier on the show, we talked a little bit about Dabo. If you missed the conversation, the context is effectively this. On Monday, Chris Lowe, who covers college football for ESPN, put up a profile on the Clemson Tigers heading into 2025. I thought the profile was not just pretty good. I also thought that the profile was, as far as preseason college football profiles go, I thought it was kind of glowing, to be honest with you. He had a lot of nice things to say about Cade Klubnik. He had a lot of nice things to say about the wide receivers, about Dabo. He had quotes from other high-profile dudes and dudettes. Bill Belichick had nice things to say. Jimbo Fisher had nice things to say, et cetera, et cetera. And at the end of that article, Chris Lowe had a quote from Dabo Swinney. The quote was, and I quote, I've had one, I said quote too many times. I've had one undefeated team.
Yeah, so now what's the quote? Was quote?
Here's the quote.
Quote.
I've had one undefeated team. In 2018, we were the first 15-0 team in the history of major college football ever, and I think we're going to be the first 16-0 team. It's a race to do that, end quote. The article ends with, again, I think a complimentary line, quote, and a race Swinney plans to keep on running his way. And a lot of the article is the discussion about how, over the past couple of years, there have been many a person, myself included, I will own it when I say it, that have said the Dabo Swinney way is not going to work in the new age of college football. And here we are going into 2025 with the Clemson Tigers, one of the 4 shortest betting odds to win the national championship. If Dabo wins a national championship, then it is proof positive more than anything else that, yeah, we were wrong and he was right. And cool. I'm good with that. In fact, I'm very interested in that because the more philosophies and strategies and approaches to college football, the more varied college football is, the better it is, right? So I read that yesterday. I was like, all right. And then this morning, I came across a clip from a press conference held yesterday by Dabo Swinney down at Clemson. And somebody said, this person said that you said that this team's going 16-0 this year. And Dabo said, and I'm not going to play the clip again because it's like 2.5 minutes long. It was a bit of a rant, but you're welcome to go find it if you want. But Dabo basically said that the article, and Zoe, I will ask you to be the ombudsman here. If I say anything that is unfair or an inaccurate portrayal or representation of what Dabo Swinney said, please stop me and I shall correct it. But Dabo said it was clickbait. He said that the quote was taken dramatically out of context. And then he said that he didn't read it. He didn't know where it came from, which I also find that interesting. But okay, cool. Dabo does 1,000 interviews a day. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But he said that he believes that quote and that article came from somebody who is just trying to get more attention drawn to his article and to his Twitter account, end quote. It's Chris Lowe from ESPN. The guy's been covering college football for ESPN for at least a dozen years that I know of, because I used to have him on my show back in the day when I was on down in Florida. I think Chris Lowe is a very good writer. I think he has been as down the middle as anybody else that I've read repeatedly for years. And so the takeaway from that for me was, I don't get this from Dabo. I don't get it. But also I do. It is an extension of the woe is us, poor little old Clemson motif, agenda, narrative, whatever you want to call it. And that's okay because it's worked for you for years. Nobody looks at that Tiger paw and thinks, my goodness, I'm so proud of them. What a tiny little impoverished, underprivileged school that just keeps on little engine that coulding their way to relevance. You're not that. You're not that. You're a powerhouse in college football. You are a powerhouse with resources and money and a fan base and yada, yada, yada. You're not a poor little old school. But This is just the extension of that. And it's worked. It's worked just fine. Keep doing it. Even if I don't like it. And I do think it is to some degree unfair because a lot of people are going to react and act based on what you say as the head coach. And now you're going to have them piling on this guy unnecessarily.
I bet a bunch of Clemson fans, yeah, you tell him, Dabo. But if you listen, he said he didn't say it, but then he said he did say it. He basically said that he said it. So it was like asking someone, hey, talk about this for 3 minutes, but don't really say anything.
He straight up said, I've never said that this team is going to go 16-0.
He says he said it.
Yeah. He said, I've never said this team's going to go 16-0. Quote, and I think we're going to be the first 16-0 team. So, if you want to hinge the whole thing on, well, I said I think we're going to be and not that we are going to be, which, as a big arguer of semantics, is correct.
Not you. No.
It is correct. He did not say we are going to go 16-0. He said, I think we're going to be the first 16-0 team. All right, cool. Semantically, you are correct. But we all, just say that then. Just say that. Instead, he threw the whole thing. I don't know. Just the poor little old Clemson shtick.
Yeah, but he does this thing where it comes across very arrogant when he does that thing. And you talk about the good old boy thing, that goes away. And the arrogance comes out. And that's what, for the most part, I don't dislike Dabo Swinney. But when the arrogance comes out, it bothers me. Because I don't know which one's the real one. Is it the shucks guy or is it that guy?
Honestly, I think it's both. I think it's both. And here's the response I have to that, and then we'll ask what the X is going on and call it a week. It's the shtick. And I don't think it's a shtick. I really do think in his head, that's who they are. Everybody's out to get us because we're different and we do it my way and blah, blah, blah. And that's fine. I don't even mind that attitude. I get it. It's when you start throwing people like Chris Lowe under the bus in order to enhance that, because that dude's going to get piled on relentlessly for a couple of days for no reason. However, and here's the biggest takeaway that I want you to hear, Clemson fans. Yes, I'm critical of this moment from Dabo. Yes, I'm critical about your program in this moment. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If you go out and you go 16-0 and you win the national championship, then you can call into this show in February and go, Rob Brown, tell me how my bleep tastes, and it'll be fine. That's what Shaq said back in the day. It's a great quote. If you don't do that, then expect that people are going to pile back on because of this moment. That's college football. The shtick works. You are in. The recruits are in. Nothing else matters. Relax.
And now, the Rob Brown Show presents Twitter.
RELAX. Relax.
Thanks, Frankie. Oh, by the way, last text, quote, Rob Brown is the worst hot take artist on radio. Nobody with a brain listens to your garbage takes. You're mad your team doesn't have a coach half as good as Dabo.
All right, they're trying to make it on that away screen. That's all they're trying to do. I'm going to get my quote on the away screen. Good for you, Clemson fan. All right, the first thing that's Xing is Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark Xing, I'm going to assume it is because last night Caitlin Clark missed her 9th consecutive game for the Indiana Fever. The Fever got blown out by the Phoenix Mercury. Alyssa Thomas with her 3rd consecutive double-double, 19 in the career. The next highest WNBA player has 4. But I also think that while that is happening, it's also being piled on right now that Paige Beckers might be having a better rookie year than Caitlin Clark had. And Caitlin Clark had a good rookie year. Paige Beckers is a baller right now. And people are kind of starting to point out, maybe Paige is a better player.
All right, so that's not why. Nancy Lieberman and Jeff Teague.
I did see that.
Had where Nancy said you had a mediocre career at best, talking to Jeff Teague, and now that's it's a lot of people are talking about that.
Long story
making
short,
comparisons.
Yeah, Jeff Teague said Caitlin Clark's a good player, not a great player. And honestly, I saw that and I'm like, hey, I'm not even gonna push back against that. But since then, a lot of people have dunked on Jeff Teague, who was a good player, not a great player. Who are you to say that? This is, in a weird way, I'm going to defend Jeff Teague because I don't think you need to be an elite basketball player to say that someone else is or is not. We don't do it the other way around. Nobody goes, Kobe was elite, and have somebody go, you're an average player. Who the hell are you to say somebody's elite? You know what I mean? We don't do it the other way around.
All right, the next thing is Xing is Robin.
As in Hood, as in Batman, and...
As in Batman.
Okay, got it. I got nothing.
Okay, Robin is Xing because it is out there on a bunch of different sites that Batman 2, which the script is done, the one with Robert Pattinson that's an Elseworld movie, Robin's going to be in it.
Keep it a buck. I kind of wish that Batman was in the new DC.
Yeah, a lot of people.
I gotta tell you,
people do, but it just. I hope it's another unknown, and I just think that would be better.
Yeah, I think there's a possibility he might be. Here is what I'm gonna say. When Robert Pattinson was the lead actor in the whole Twilight era that we all had to live through back in the day,
Sparkly.
when he showed up as the Batman, I was like, oh God, here we go. I thought he was pretty good.
Yeah, so did I.
I thought he was pretty good.
By the way, for more elaboration and talk about that, make sure you tune into the Upstate Pulse tomorrow, 7 to 9 p.m. on 98.9 WRD.
Brother.
Also streaming live on all these platforms.
Brother.
The last thing that's Xing is Dave Bautista.
Dave Bautista. I don't know why Dave Bautista. Birthday?
All right, two things. He has been cast as the villain in the new Highlander movie, which is the Highlander reboot with Henry Cavill.
Subscribe.
I don't know if he's going to be the Kurgan, which was the original, which is Mr. Krabs, but is the original bad guy. I know Highlander was out a long time ago, but still, he's also been cast in Roadhouse 2.
Oh, all in for that. Quick question. Is Dave Bautista the most successful wrestler turned actor of all time?
I think Cena's given him a run for his money. But as far as if you want to go serious actor,
Just actor in
maybe
general.
he's pretty good.
I'm fine
I
with
hate that
Cena.
he's lost so much of his size, though. But
And before anybody hits me with it's Dwayne, no, it's not. Dwayne's the same guy in every movie except
He is.
Moana.
Yeah.
Like, Moana's the only movie he's not Dwayne in, and he's not even in that. He's just his voice acting. All right, that's it for us. Thanks for being here. Hope you enjoyed the show. If you didn't, let's be honest, it's your own fault. We're out. BetMGM tonight. Bet for the Cycle tomorrow. Upstate Pulse tomorrow night. The Rob Brown Show returns on Monday. Have a great rest of your day. Don't drink and drive. I'll punch you in the face. See you back here Monday to do it all over again, but better on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. Later. Noise.
and you can't teach that.
Homing. All right. Guys, that was super duper fun. Thanks for being here. For those of you from the PNP Army who stuck around, thanks for doing that. We do the show live every Monday from 6 till 10 a.m. So if you're looking for somewhere to go.
Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday and Friday.
Okay, and yeah, all that. We do that all the time. So if you enjoyed it, come back on Monday morning. For everybody that is here usually, thank you as always. We appreciate it. We are back on Monday. We are Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week. Lonzo and I will be out on Thursday and Friday. Your boy's going to be knocking back Mai Tais on the beach in Charleston. Lonzo is going to be trying to stand up.
Knee deep in sawdust.
Yeah.
Hopefully not knee deep in sawdust. That's a lot of sawdust.
But make sure you are here Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We will break down the Panthers preseason game. We will be inside of 17 days, 18 days, 17 and a half days till Thursday college football. And that'll be 3 weeks away from NFL Week 1, 2. So Monday's going to be awesome. Can't wait. Thanks for being here. Tell your friends about us. Lonzo and I would like to retire. Lonzo and I would like to get to the point where we can pay other people to install floors.
Yeah, that would be good.
So help us
I'll
get
be
there.
down for that.
All right, guys. Have a great weekend. Thank you very much. See you Monday. Goodbye.